Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
By the power of Grayskull!
I am dumping unlimited power into you.
And to be fair, racist was Hitler.
And that is just.
Oh God,
those eyes, dude. Those eyes, man. Those eyes.
Pretty eyes.
I'm not looking at them eyes right now.
You know what?
I know, but she is a total package. She is a total package.
I usually
can have my
think
package.
Ryan. I usually think Ryan is very cringe when he says this, but she can shit in my mouth.
Whoa,
God,
Dermy!
Why do you have to ruin
What
this?
the fuck?
Why
Ryan
do you have to
says
ruin
that
this?
shit.
Fuck,
Ryan
I know,
says
but-
this shit.
If Ryan jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge?
But you just
For her,
Probably
yeah.
fucking
that.
would.
Here we are worshiping this beautiful woman, and you're talking about German shit eating. I mean, come on.
Listen. I will drag my ball sack.
No, listen.
100
You
miles
listen to
worth
me.
of
Shut the
frickin'
fuck up.
broken glass, salt, and lemon
Shut the
juice
fuck up,
just
Jeremy.
to smell her farts.
We're not on your goddamn stream. We're on Adam's stream. We're
Wow,
supposed to
I am-
respect the man's
Thanks-
house. You don't take
thank-
shit in his goddamn fridge.
Don't want to be like the nature boy. Woo! Thank you, Ric Flair.
Wow.
Woo!
Imagine for a moment, if you will, being Adam's neighbor. You're sitting in your favorite easy chair. Maybe you got a cup of tea and you're reading your favorite book, and out of nowhere, through the wall, you hear this. Culturally appropriate my dick.
That's what this-
All Shooty wanted to do was be inside me.
Come.
And then when I'm holding hands with Dermy, it's going to be worse. I did that. I've done that.
Oh,
I have the
God.
video here.
Just think of that. You're gonna be holding
Yes.
his hand and think about what that hand's been holding. Technically,
Yes.
you touched Dermy's penis.
You are a worthless turd.
It was one of the first James Bond movies I watched, so I have a bit of a connection to it.
That's Dermy's excuse.
I don't give a fuck. Stop
It
bringing
was
up
their
Dermy.
first date, Adam. Shut up.
I will stop bringing it up. I don't give a fuck what that wannabe VTuber cunt wants to say. Okay, let me have my moment.
We named zombies after you in that game.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're these big fat bloaters that sun themselves and they just lay there.
oh, those are the things that come out of my rainbow's ass.
Oh yeah. Take it. All right, Devil. Here we go. Now these are
Do you
the
peel
bananas
it first, or are you going to take the whole thing?
No,
Love
I'm
the banana.
going to eat it.
Want
I'm
the
going to eat
banana.
it. All right, so now it's going to be extra distasteful because, as you can see, it started to ripen, and I don't like a ripe banana. I like a slightly green banana, so it's not going to taste as very good at all to me.
Make sure you cup it.
Well, I mean, all right, so now it has to be circumcised. So there we
That's
go.
true. You need to make sure you do that. Okay,
Make sure
and
God Abraham is satisfied with
you
this
also need to make
banana.
sure to
No, listen,
prep your
listen.
uvula.
Okay, you know what? There were no rules set down for this. Okay, outside of I just have to eat it the long way, which whatever the fuck that means.
It means try a one fucking bite, bitch.
Yeah. So, I have a gag reflex, so we're gonna. All right. So, how's that? Is that a good angle?
Yeah, that's a really good angle. Come on, deep throat that banana.
No, Kratos. There is no sweet.
I'm
talking
really
with
uncomfortable
bananas.
now.
I'm a man of my word. Okay. All right. Here comes the memes. You get. I deliver. I have to build my. I don't want to put something long in my mouth like this.
So many clippable moments.
Do it.
All right, let me try and control my laughter. I can't be laughing when I do this. I might choke. Okay, give me a second here.
Get it, girl.
Yeah, that's right. You take
I
that.
hit the
big
gag.
one.
It hit the back of my throat.
That-
2 words
we did-
Dermy's
Well,
never
that's
said.
what it does when that happens.
You need to pick.
All right, is that it? Am I done?
Well, you got a banana there.
Well, now I'm just eating a regular banana at this point. I took
try-
it the long way as much as I could.
Yeah, I'm fine. We
Yeah,
got
if
what we
Devil-
want. The
If
clip.
Devil is satisfied, then we're done.
They warned us about people like you!
There we go. All better now. Man, titties are the greatest things on earth.
It's always fun when new people come and they realize the intro. The intro is insane. Hail and howdy, everybody. Welcome to Mellow Mondays, where I'm still a little brain fried from talking shooty who. So always excuse. I got another week of this back-to-back crap. What's going on with the thing? What happened here? This is weird. Like, where's the under part? What the hell? Settings didn't change. Professional. What's going on here?
Not gonna help you find your thing, Adam.
Well, you're not in charge of that. Don't worry. Why is it where I was just doing who cares reviews. Where's like the part where it has under? Why did it all change? It's all different. It did this once before where it changed. It changed like the color schemes and everything. And
Yep.
that
It's a consistent glitch I've been having with StreamYard too. We all got to get the
okay.
fuck off of StreamYard at some point.
Yeah, I've been doing Restream lately and enjoying
I'm
it.
looking.
Well,
I'm looking
locked
into
in for
even
another
months.
year, and I'm getting my money's worth. StreamYard is actually doing my shorts for me, so I'm actually getting my money's worth. So, there we go. Okay, that was weird. Okay, all right, all better now. Right, hello everybody. For welcome, Ardent Party. Sam obviously sent you here. Welcome to this is a chill stream. This is a chill stream, but occasionally weird and stupid things happen. Weird and stupid and weird things happen.
Adam proving exactly how shallow his gag reflex is.
No, listen. That was the end of a 12-hour stream, and I lost a bet to Devil that I had to, and that we rolled Derby's Wheel of Pain over on Ballbusters, and that's what I landed on. So, okay. I fulfilled my part of the bargain. Of course, it also made for great content, so I'm not going to get rid of it. Anyway, so how we all doing tonight? How we doing? Drew, how you doing?
Incredible. I got asked to be the keynote speaker for Memorial Day event today. It was incredible. They've been doing this for 10 years. It's a 10-mile walk or a rucksack march, kind of put a backpack on and walk for 10 miles. So I didn't take part in that. maybe someday. I used to do that kind of stuff all the time. But so yeah, they rolled around town, walked, and ended up by the river. And then I gave a speech and kind of talked to the group. So it was pretty awesome.
That's good stuff, man. That is excellent stuff.
Yeah, remember the fallen.
Exactly. They did all that so we can do this. Very simple. Very
simple. It's a 2-part. Remember and enjoy.
Yep. Devil.
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
You all right? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Why shouldn't I be?
I don't know. You're gonna find some way to ruin my fun tonight, I'm sure.
I'm fine.
Absolutely. And now we're joined by Thick Thulu.
Yeah.
Now we get to be graced by this image for a while.
You can't really see it on account of like where my name's at, but there's like this leather strap going across my ample bosom.
I see it. Your bosom.
Yeah, this is from an image that is shall we say thicker than usual.
Yeah, y'all didn't know, but Sam's a bear. You know,
I sort of know that terminology, and I don't want to go any farther into that. I really don't.
Yeah. So no, I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here. Just came off of doing a stream myself, and to echo what Drew said, And again, I feel weird saying happy before this, but because it's not really a jubilant holiday, but
I've avoided saying
Memorial
happy
Day.
all day. Yeah, I've avoided saying happy all day. I just said, let's give honor and prayers to those who did it and those who left behind.
So remember those who fell and thank them for it.
Yep. And here I am. If you were joining us from Doctor Who Cares Reviews, you know that I'm a little brain fried at this point now. These back-to-back streams, especially when you cover horrible shit, and then I got to come here, and I don't even have all my faculties today. I had a rough night last night physically, so I'm sure I'm going to slip up at one point, and these guys are going to just meme the hell out of me, roast me. It's gonna happen, I'm sure of it. But we have a good show tonight. I'm pretty sure. I got one discussion topic. I'm prepared this week. Got a discussion topic that kind of spawned over something we were talking about yesterday on Roundtable, which is something we've talked about here before. But since we're all here now at the start, I'd love to get into that. Got a couple of usual X posts that we can go down nerd rabbit holes on, and then I've got an article. Once again, people involved with Dragon Age Veilguard are crying. They're crying. Since many of us here are actual Dragon Age fans, I figured it's the place to talk about it. And of course, if you guys have something you want to throw in, it's always good to go. And hail and howdy to everybody in the chat. We hope you're having a good Monday night. We hope you are relaxing. We hope you've had a good day-to-day holiday for just about everybody. We hope you were safe. Hope you enjoyed your barbecue and your all that stuff. And hope you went to see good movies and not shit movies. You went to the movies. Anyway, all right. So let's do the discussion topic first. If nobody has any objections, let's do the discussion topic first. So yesterday we were talking. I'm doing this. If you guys aren't aware, I'm doing a bit of a victory lap since Friday. Wheel of Time got canceled. And I have been celebrating that every way, shape, or form. I've got still more content planned this week for you guys, both videos and streams of it. But during the discussion of that, the standard feeling about modern day TV shows comes into part of the framework of why these things fail. And it comes up that there's a standard to most of these train wreck TV shows on streaming these days. At most, they're all 8 episodes long. They take 2 years or a year and a half to shit out 8 episodes of 9 times out of 10 garbage. So we, of course, then bring that up. Most of us are experienced television watchers. A couple of us are old men. One of us is a eldritch god. We know what it was like back in the day when real television existed, when terrestrial television was still a thing. And somehow in a year, they would manage to churn out 7 seasons of 20-plus episodes of Star Trek, 10 seasons of 20-plus episodes of Stargate. Procedural television used to churn out NCIS, Law and Order. They all used to churn out 20-plus episodes a year. Pick a show. That's how it worked. Every week they would churn stuff out. And here we are in the mid-2020s, and they've lost that ability. They spend too much money on this shit. Stanzel claims the greatest thing in the world. See Andor. And we're supposed to bow at the feet of these jackholes who managed to crap out 8 episodes of garbage. So I want to open it up to you guys. How did we get here? How do we get here? How do we get here where they somehow don't understand that once upon a time they used to put out all this TV and it used to be a good mix of episodic, bottle, and overarching storytelling, and now they can't even do it right in 8 episodes. How do we get here?
That's a good point. Like
writer's strike in the mid 2000s.
All right, Drew first. Go, Drew.
Yeah, that had something to do with it. But yeah, we were talking about physical media the other day, and yeah, if anybody has seen Supernatural, it went for 15, I think, seasons on the CW.
Unfortunately,
15 rough seasons.
It went for a while, but the point is they had 20+ episode seasons, and there was that main arc, but it was also the movie of the week, the monster of the week, and those are great. And I like that they were bounce around the different parts of the country and do different crazy lore stuff. But even that, and then 24 episodes, each an hour long in a 24-hour thing. I think that's probably the most I've seen. So most of the other ones were 22. But yeah, I like that it kind of went with the whole school season. It started in like September, went for a while. Then the Christmas,
4 months.
They had a break. They did the mid-season finale, which it led up to, and it was a pretty good mid-season finale for most of these shows. Or if it was like something like Home Improvement or whatever, they had their Halloween and Christmas stuff. They pick back up when you go back to school, and then it's off in the summer. And then they had a break. And then while they were releasing episodes, they were also filming them too at the same time. So you could make minor changes. If the audience wasn't feeling a character, they could make some changes and then still have a great, season. And you don't get that anymore. What these like 8-episode just release or even the week to week, it's kind of like a long, horrible trilogy. It's like, those could be cut down, like say like Andor, that could have been cut down and made into, a good movie. Like there's a good movie in there somewhere, but
not Star Wars though.
Yeah. I don't know where it goes from here. It just, they keep putting out crap. The only positive right now is Mobland. I am so intrigued in that show right now. And it leaves on a cliffhanger, like each episode too. So you could tell that they're making the episodes as a start and a finish, and then it picks back up the next episode the next week.
I mean, there are some out there who could do it. Like, who's the guy that makes Yellowstone and
Taylor Sheridan is
Taylor Sheridan. He, out of all these guys, he does understand the secret sauce of a short season. Obviously, he probably took at least some inspiration because in England, they do 8-episode seasons, but all those episodes are an hour long and high production value and usually based off good material or creative people. He seems to understand that secret sauce and how to make it work from there. But he's the only one. Nobody else will do it. I mean, Sam, but
Guy Ritchie.
I'm not a Guy Ritchie fan. Thing is, I'm not a Guy Ritchie
fan. It's a different taste.
Yeah,
for sure. But
yeah,
he can pull it off.
He can pull off, but it's a tasting. You don't like him, you don't. But I can respect that he can pull off because enough people enjoy it. So I'm okay putting Guy Ritchie in that. But nobody else really understands it. But Sam, you mentioned you say the genesis is the 2008 writer's strike.
I think the catalyst for that, it was absolutely the 2008 writer's strike. I mean, you're looking at a time when let's see what was going on at the time. Battlestar Galactica season 3, Heroes season 2,
NCIS season 5.
I mean, I didn't watch that because I don't do procedurals, but around that time, very popular shows, very, very, and the writer's strike happened right in the mid seasons. And like with Heroes, they just cut the season off. They didn't even finish the fucking thing. With BSG, it was 2 years before you got the rest of season 3, and they just sort of truncated it. And it started when they came back from that, they kind of were just like, well, I guess we could just do less episodes. And so it became, 12 to 13 episodes a season, as opposed to like first seasons, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 12 episodes, right? First season. Right. And then when they got renewed, because they weren't sure they were going to get more, that's why that was so short in the first season. But when they got renewed, they came back for a 22 episode season, which I think continued up until the last one, which I think was also truncated, but not by that much. And then, it just sort of gave them an excuse to make more. And like, dude, if you go back, you're looking at some of these older shows that did go for episodes upon episodes during seasons. Obviously, there is filler in some of those. Some of those episodes could be removed and it would change nothing. But
we've had this conversation
it coincided with like people's schedules. Yeah.
But so you and I had this conversation before. When they do episodic video episodes, like the non-main storyline related episodes, it's usually good character work though. In those episodes, usually, sometimes it's just filler. But and like Drew, you brought up Supernatural. Supernatural was a show that continued to produce full seasons through the course of its run. I mean, it only ended like 3-4 years ago, something like that. It's 15 seasons long. Each season was, full length, 20 to 22 episodes or whatever.
And they covered a lot of stuff. They actually became, after the title was originally given to Stargate SG-1 and then given to Smallville immediately, like the next year. They tied for the longest running sci-fi fantasy series, like genre series in history, right? And then Supernatural blew them out of the water with an extra 5 seasons. And nobody's topped that since, and probably won't. I mean, you're not going to see anybody fucking greenlight anything for 15 seasons again. But
you'd have to combine all. You'd have to combine all of Star Trek and count that as a season to beat it.
But I'm looking at Supernatural and I'm thinking to myself, it was like, yes, it went on for a very, very long time. It maybe shouldn't have.
Kripke lost his mind at the end. Completely lost his mind.
Well, Kripke stopped having anything to do with it after season 5. They, regardless of all of that, they were still producing regular amounts of shows and all that stuff, and they were one of the only shows on television to do it. I think some of the other CW's shows were still doing lengthy seasons, like Arrow was for a while, kind of thing. But it wasn't a common thing anymore, and I do think that writer strike it broke the formula, and that's really where it started.
That's a very good point, and I think there's another point that you got. I mean, Drew just described what it was like back in the day. You get the fall season, you get the first half of your series, then you get your winter break. You come back in February, March, and March, April, May. You finish everything up. But then in the olden days on network television, you would then have essentially June, July, August, usually not even until October. They kept pushing it back. So October, you'd have 4, maybe 5 months of nothing, reruns. It was the dead time. You didn't watch TV anymore. That you did other stuff.
Yeah, you're outside. You're going to the movie theater. That's usually when like the box office was dropping this awesome movies.
You're playing games yourself. But then something changed in the 2010s. This is like the second half of, I think, as we explore this. Cable television started to really take hold with their original programming. And suddenly, channels like USA Network, Sci-Fi Channel, TNT, TBS, AMC, Bravo, all these channels that had just been buying stuff for years and getting syndication rights, they decided to do original programming. But they didn't do it during the fall. They said, hey, let's drop shows during the summer. And suddenly your regular shows you watched all year ended. And then suddenly, here's the summer season on cable. You got Suits. You got Psych. You got Monk. You got
Burn Notice.
You got Burn Notice.
Burn Notice.
White Collar.
White Collar. I mean, the USA hate it. Right now, you got the USA, you got FX shows, you've got the bunch of sci-fi shows. Yeah, it was suddenly there was more stuff. And the one thing about all these shows, though, they were only 10 to 12 episodes long, sometimes 8 or 9. Suits was notoriously short in its episode counts, and they would even take breaks. They'd stop and they'd return later with 2 or 3 more. So I think that's the second half of that. Go ahead, Devil. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I think you're both right. But I also think there's more to it. I think there's kind of a multitude of reasons that it kind of collapsed like that. Another one is streaming. Streaming.
That's the final chapter.
Yeah,
that's
puts
the final
it all
chapter
out.
House of Cards. When House of Cards dropped everything at once.
Yeah, if you're dropping the entire season all at once, you can't afford to do 24 episodes. You got to shorten it up.
The binge model.
Yeah, the binge model really took it out. People losing cable. Cable wanted those long things because they could draw out the amount of commercials. 24 episodes, that's a shit ton of commercials. Yeah. When cable kind of collapsed and everyone started going to streaming and stuff, they're all like,
more
we
about
just don't
memberships than get the membership and then watch all of House of Cards. And then and that was what, like 2012 time. Yeah, and then it turned into more.
Give or take. That was about when, and you started seeing all kinds of like random ass streaming shit pop up, like different platforms and all that stuff. A lot of which doesn't exist anymore because they got absorbed by all the bigger ones like Disney and HBO and
you just jumped to the next point, and in the midst of this, suddenly there became the prestige shows.
HBO decided, hey, let's get back into. We have our history of making good shows. We've stumbled into Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
We're
when
gonna
was
put out-
that? Was that 2012?
That's
time?
late 2000, late 2010s into the teens. Because I remember I was in Florida.
Yeah,
in-
didn't they? I thought they started in like 2009 or something.
Yeah, I was in Florida when I was first trying to watch it, and I was like, okay, I didn't really enjoy it. But I mean, take it easy, Arden. Thanks for hanging out, man. Welcome to the stream. Sub if you enjoyed
thanks
what you
for
saw
coming
here,
by,
man. Yeah, my point is that then there's the idea of prestige television began on
2011. Game of
2011.
Thrones.
It was 11. Okay,
Hmm.
like 10. I think it's 10, 11 because I was in Florida when I was watching. Oh no, I was in Arlington. That kind of period merges in my brain for a little bit. Point is, thank you, man. Thanks for the sub. But prestige television then started. That also added to it, and that leads into what Devil said. That leads into streaming and the binge model, because suddenly you make these prestige shows on the streaming services, and they drop them all at once. And so I think the way, if we go back to where Sam said, it starts with the writer's strike. It didn't happen all at once. It was a steady series of events, which has led us to here. On top of everything, an extreme loss of talent in entertainment.
Actor contracts was another thing. You know, a lot of them sign up for something like 7 seasons usually. And then when you get close to that 7th is when people renegotiate. And sometimes they just let actors go. They're like, nope, well, we don't want to pay you more. You know, go do your thing. And they replace them. But yeah, that's what happened with like Lex on Michael Rosenbaum on Smallville. He's just like, nope, had enough. Want to go do other things. I'm tired of shaving my head or whatever they.
Yeah,
you know,
that was one of them. I'm tired of shaving my head. I remember that.
Yeah, and there were other stuff too, but other actors, you know, like the Sam and Dean on Supernatural, they're like, yep, let's stay with it. I mean, and that's good because there was 2 of them. If you break up that team, show's over. You know,
too soon, Duke. It's too soon. Still too soon. I don't want to think about that, Brad. I don't want to think about it, Brad. I don't want to think about it.
But yeah, you're right. It was a series.
I know he's not wrong. I don't want to think about it though.
The first one could have been Sopranos, you know, just having that prestige.
That was
early
prestige.
On. Yeah, that was early on in 2000s.
Well, that was old HBO.
Yeah,
when it was still kind of. I mean, Sopranos like the breakout thing because HBO had other stuff like Rome was prestige, but it didn't break through. Sopranos broke through. But then it kind of stopped. Game of Thrones is what changed everything because suddenly everybody wanted to do Game of Thrones prestige. They wanted that.
Well, because of the success of things like you know, The Sopranos and to a lesser degree Rome and whatnot on HBO, some of the other premium movie channels started making premium content too, like Spartacus, Blood and Sand over on Stars, for example, who did very well. You know. And that sort of thing. So you start seeing a lot more of that, and they started doing what they called premium television, like you were saying, as opposed to just playing movies that they happen to buy the rights to distribute. And then you ended up with this sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say elitist kind of thing because while it wasn't. That's not really where I'm going with this. It was just like there was television, and then there was these guys. You know, and it just kind of changed things. And furthermore, a lot of the stuff that was on those prestige channels, this wasn't scripted like normal television. And for the most part, usually it was done beginning to end before they ever started filming. They had their outline. They had exactly where they were going beginning to end. And they could tell that story within a more limited number of episodes, as opposed to network television, which tends to.
You had a really weird robot pop there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Crossing dimensions.
Yeah. I think we lost.
Yeah, I'm with you. And the whole thing was like, you know, they used to build in the commercials. Like you could tell when, I think that's what you're kind of saying too, is like you could tell when it was a good time to stop and go to a commercial. And then, you know, no one liked commercials. But yeah, when they started doing the whole House of Cards and things that were like, we're not even going to plan for commercials. We're just going to play it out through. Like that was new. That was a whole thing. But now recently, like I started watching like Hulu or something where they throw a commercial in and it's like, that's a bad spot for it. You know, it used to be that 22-minute episode or 40-minute if it was an hour long, and it went really well. But I don't know. I think it's just that whole kids playing with nuclear weapons. The people come into these writer rooms or directors that they don't have the skills.
Well, I think that there's also because prestige television wasn't just the paid for big HBO stars and stuff. You had Walking Dead. That was a massive success. There were people, that was water cooler TV.
Yep.
And that was on just basic cable. I think it was just this idea that used to be the studios that made those big budget shows and the real successful shows. They knew exactly who they were selling to for such a long time. And I think once, like you were saying, the cable market came in and those big budget channels like HBO and stuff came into the market and said, we'll buy that show. It diluted who they, the centralization of these shows to where the channels that used to have unlimited shows thrown at them that could possibly be successful really had to struggle to find the hits that they used to just have handed to them, essentially.
Yeah, that was the turning point because, Walking Dead came out in 2010. You said Game of Thrones 2011. And so two different things, HBO and AMC. But then Breaking Bad around that same time. So you could tell that was a shift that was happening. And completely different. And
there used to be four channels five channels that bought every you either made it on those or you didn't get your show, out there.
Well, you had the four channels and then it turned into more like 50 with cable. But even that, only like 4 companies owned, like Viacom and stuff like that, owned like those 50 channels. And then they, kept expanding. But speaking of Walking Dead, they started off, that first season was like 6 episodes. And it was a good 6 episodes,
amazing 6.
And then they got a little bit more.
It was a great hook.
Yep. With that second season, they got more. But then I think they got longer episodes and they didn't know how to do the longer episodes. I don't know.
Well, you bring up a great point, Drew. You bring up a point, which kind of leads into the tail end of this, where we're talking about they've moved. We're into the streaming era, which is Devil. When they brought it up, that's the final chapter where it all falls apart. But on top of that, you look at these streaming services, which are these basically infant production companies that don't know what they're doing. And they aren't making movies. They want to make TV. But in a lot of cases, they've brought in Hollywood people. But Hollywood movie makers are not television creators. So making a movie is vastly different from making a television show. So what you have in a lot of these cases, especially look at like Disney Plus and Amazon, they're bringing in people from Hollywood who don't know how to make television and are making, like you just described, they're trying to make movies on TV and it's not.
No showrunner. You don't have
and
one
no showrunner.
Person
That's Disney. That's Disney introducing
they're
the
controlling the whole
thing.
thing. It's like, you can have directors of individual episodes and everything like that, but you need to have one conductor that's saying, nope, you're getting too far out of the lore, whatever. You're contradicting something over here. You need an actual showrunner and a Bible.
And,
this is what we're going off of.
You need somebody who's going to hold the resume. Right now, perfect example. We just started Deep Space Nine Season 2 over on Wormhole Watch, which I'm on with Brad and Fractured and Jay Hitman. And we just started the second season, and we were talking about it last night as you did the recording. And I stopped us 1 minute when it showed that Ira Stephen Bear was first and foremost in production and story and writing. And that is the moment in that point of the series where he was taking over and he was becoming a showrunner. And if you know, it's right here where the story starts to take shape and where they're going, because a good showrunner, a good writer, a good producer like Ira Stephen Bear took over and put it on the rails and said, we are going in this direction. Hang on, guys. We're going to do some great stuff. And you get to end of season 2 and you start season 3 and you're off to some of the best Star Trek you're ever going to watch. And that is an example of a showrunner. Another good thing in the moment, which might produce something good in the fallout of the canceling of Wheel of Time, as I've been talking about. Jennifer Salke was fired from Amazon Prime Studios a few months ago. She was the one protecting a lot of these trash fake showrunners like Rafe Judkins. who is in charge of Wheel of Time, was in charge of Wheel of Time, but who's also put in charge of God of War, which has been suffering. They can't get off the ground. They keep throwing out scripts. Well, a few months ago, during the period of time where we didn't know she was fired yet, suddenly Rafe Judkins was pulled off God of War and was given to Ron D. Moore, one of the original showrunners down the road, or at least not maybe showrunner, but head of the writer's room of Star Trek The Next Generation, a guy who knows it, the creator of Battlestar Galactica reboot, a guy who knows how to run television. Now, not everything he's done has been stellar, but the guy still knows television, knows how to write it, knows how to showrun it. So now you've taken God of War on Amazon and put it in the hands of a real television showrunner and creator. It has a chance. It's a small chance, but it has a chance. That's what it takes.
Yeah.
People know what they're doing. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm not.
It's an affirmative. That's just an affirmative. Okay.
But
yeah,
God of
look
War
up.
is just a terrible fucking idea as a television show anyway.
It could be great. It could be bad.
I don't think it can be great because one way or the other, they're certainly not going to have any scenes where Kratos goes in and fucks a bunch of buxom ladies for XP. That's not going to happen in between mutilating fantastically hideous mythological creatures.
Yeah, that's how I get all my experience bonuses.
Right?
Yeah.
That if that's not in the show, it's not worth doing. I'm sorry.
Point is that there's a distinct lack of talent, and even in some cases, if they are trying to course correct, it might be too late in a lot of cases because a lot of people are checked out. They're not,
and there's so much out there
series.
where you can easily move on.
Or
back then, I'm looking at that in 2008, Breaking Bad. That's when it came out. So that was kind of the crosshairs, like you started this whole thing out with the writer's strike. Did the writer's strike affect Breaking Bad? Because if it did, I didn't notice it.
I think it was before it.
Yeah, it must have. It must have just came right out.
Long before it.
Gun swinging or
Breaking Bad wasn't even in existence when
blue meth
when that happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Breaking Bad happened after that. Plus, you had the showrunner and creator there, Vince Gilligan, was a veteran of awesome television. I mean, the dude wrote half of the X-Files.
Oh, yep, that helps out a lot too.
Yeah.
No, that was a crazy thing because I remember hearing something that Anthony Hopkins was watching Breaking Bad, and he said, "This is exactly what TV needs to be. It's incredible, just mind blowing." So that's when he started getting in talks and working on Westworld, and great for the first season.
Yeah, another famous
completely
example.
downhill after that. Yeah,
another famous example of things going downhill in this modern format that they have. So I think we've sketched it out pretty well of how we got here. And in the end, I'll ask this question on the way out the door of this discussion. Do you think things are going to get better?
I think it's possible.
Better in what way? Like,
are they going to? I could say I don't think it's going to get better in terms of creativity because genre is in the shitter right now because they're not everything that they could have mined, they've butchered, like Wheel of Time. They've butchered it. The other things like Guy Ritchie and all that kind of stuff.
That's what I was going to say. It's going to be silos. It's going to be tribalism.
Okay, there you go.
Not necessarily a bad thing. You can have tribalism, like you said. Your Quentin Tarantino's, your Guy Ritchie, your Taylor Sheridan, whatever, and then you go, kind of check that out. The cool thing about Taylor Sheridan is he's both, or he's directing it, he's writing the things. He's not always
starring in it.
Yep, he's in it. He's jumping on Joe Rogan and talking about how he actually went and talked to Native Americans and saw really how it was, not how you were taught in school, and like incorporated like real things. And so you're gonna have that. You're gonna have real people that
Well, you're also,
and it's like older stuff. It's historical things, but then he's also like Landman, where it's current stuff. Be like, okay, that what you're hearing about the oil industry is complete bullshit. Like, here's how we need this to operate the world, or millions of people will die tomorrow if you get rid of it.
And at the same time, you're Taylor Sheridan saying, "Hey, Sylvester Stallone, you want to star on a show?
Yeah,
Let's do it."
I love Tulsa King. Here's the thing. It's like Drew said. It's in what way? I think it's going to get better because I think, and we've talked about this, Adam, we're purging the woke. The woke is not working anymore. You're seeing it more and more. So I do think we're going to have the quality. The only problem that I see is I don't think we're going to get the writers back to being brave about stuff. And what I mean by that
I know what
is
you mean.
taking
They're
the
not-
risks. Yeah, with the stories, because we're tired of the same canned stories that they used for so many years in dramas. You know, the same episodes being played over and over again in every single show. There's always every sci-fi show has that episode where are they crazy and they're in the mental institution. You know, it's
for
like
example, yeah.
yeah, there's always these canned kind of shows, and no one really took any. And it's gone even worse now that these writers are afraid of getting canceled because they put the wrong thing. I do think we're going to continue to get directors who stand out because they are willing to take those risks. It's just how many, and are they going to be able to keep the, you know, us satiated with good shows? I think they're going to be few and far between for quite a bit of time till this all kind of runs over.
I think we're in the tough times make
Yeah.
great men kind of period. So I think like you said, the woke is kind of going to go away. That ship has sailed. It's going to linger on.
There's
for
still
a
going to be
while.
agenda though. They're still trying to.
Yeah, there's going to be agenda
skip it in there.
But like Chris Gore talks about, that's great for like an indie movie, an indie show, whatever. There'll be that spot, like I said, that tribalism. And if you want that, go watch it. Go have a good time or share it with somebody if you want. But it shouldn't be force fed down our throats into every IP. So I do think the IPs are going to die in their current form, and they'll only survive if they get shelved for a while. Otherwise, they will slowly die a decaying death. All these things, all these Star Wars and Star Trek, and all this stuff.
Two things. One, leave the great stuff alone. Just stop. You've murdered it enough. Put it away. Stop trying to murder any further. Stop hurting our beloved things. Second, you got to new stuff. People got to be brave and make new things. Make new things. But
it might be like the Rippaverse stuff where like Az, Drunk 3PO, who are the other guys that are doing that mini story series.
Well, that's comics. We're talking TV here.
Yeah, but think about it. They own the IP, or whoever owns whatever of that, and then maybe it eventually turns into an animated, and then something else. I'm saying, looking down the line.
That's interesting.
Yeah, or any of us, can kind of create something, and you hold on to those rights. I mean, that's how Ninja Turtles got started. Eventually,
you give my lazy ass a lot of credit, Drew.
Hey, whatever you want to put into it.
What I see. Here's a key thing that will tell me when things are changing: when they stop making everything gay. When they literally, I'm serious. When they stop turning every character in a show gay, we will have moved on.
I'm with you, Adam.
Yeah. I
mean, I have no room to talk. I have no room to talk because I made Sam gay last 2 weeks ago on his own show.
I don't know if it was gay so much as it was not. But,
Uno reverse.
My example is Wheel of Time. Rafe Judkins literally made every single character gay, and he destroyed tons of relationships in the show that were supposed to be, and therefore made them never happen because he made chicks screwing each other, men screwing each other, thruples with two dudes and a chick or two. It was out of control and insane. And as soon as you get away from, if you're adapting something that has solid lore and source material, as soon as you stop adding in gay where it isn't there, that'll be a sign that we've crested a hill.
Yeah, another way to say that is going outwardly rather than inwardly. Like that stuff is just like very just identity, very just selfish.
Well, it's identity politics to the T.
Yeah, well, it's just a selfish way of thinking. It's like you ran out of ideas of continuing the story, or pushing and having the hero's journey, having a purpose. Like, where are you going with this? But instead of doing that, they look inward and like how is this oppressing this person, or let me get whatever I want and live in that Pinocchio, what is it called, fantasy land. And it's
call it the Batwoman effect.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it better, or it's gonna be better when the suit's made for somebody else,
for a woman.
And it's just like that stuff only can last for so long as the person, the actor, the director is. Right. They're like, oh, this is great. This is all about me, and that's not. Nobody wants to watch that.
that's where we get into the distinctions, because the problem isn't the fact that there are gay characters. The problem is that those are only inserted for ideological purposes.
Yes,
They
that's
they,
my
they
point.
do not
Thank
serve
you.
a purpose. Like, um, you guys know who Lee Pace is,
Yes.
right? Okay, so he was on a show years ago on AMC called I think it was AMC. It might have been FX. I'm pretty sure it was AMC, called *Halt and Catch Fire*.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yep.
And it was really good. And his character in it was kind of gay, but it didn't really matter because it wasn't that's not what his character was about, right?
Mhm.
The only place that actually came up as part of a story arc for him was when one of his lovers contracted HIV and shot himself, right? Which, given that it takes place in like 1985 through 87, made sense at the time, and it made sense for the character, but it wasn't about him being gay. It was about him being a ruthless tech oligarch, which he was, right?
Yeah,
And he
it
was
was wild.
brilliant in that fucking show, by the way. It's very good if you haven't seen it. So, but that's kind of the point, is like, you can have the gay characters, you can have the whatever characters, whatever labels you want to throw on characters. That's fine, as long as you're writing them as characters and
Mhm.
not as propaganda pieces, as like cardboard cutouts.
And it's
Yep.
not even just that gay. It's anything romance, even with that Taylor shared in 1883. It's like it was such an amazing story, but every time that they focused on the girl and hooking up with whatever guy that she was with in this whatever time period, it just dragged on. And I get that some people like that, rom-coms and romantic dramas and stuff like that. But some people try to do that all into one show, one episode, one movie, and it's just, you can't make everything for everybody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we've all kind of pointed that out, that we're not against characters being black, we're not against characters
No.
being Asian,
Yeah.
gay, Mexican, Middle Eastern, long as the character fits that. If you make
Exactly.
if this person's supposed to be 6 generations American, but you make him like devout Muslim and he speaks with the Arab accent and stuff, you're all like, why? Where did that make sense? It's the choices that they have been making that affects us. So yeah, I agree. It's not just the gay, it's everything.
And that's what the
Uh,
haters say. They're like,
yeah.
"Oh, all these people
You're
just
a
hate this or
bigot.
don't want this," and it's like,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
the case. It's taken over the story. And I got a good comparison to this, like when superhero movies started coming out, like X-Men. It's like I like that X-Men came out, the movie, the 2000 whatever 99 movie. I'm like, all right, this is awesome that they're on the screen, but I already know this whole story. I really liked it when it got to X2. It's like, okay, now we're cooking. Like, now we get to see what Wolverine can do and everything like this. But the thing is, like, it requires that origin story. So like all these, when you introduce an identity to a character, that's already there, or they bring him in for an episode or whatever. Now you got to have their whole backstory and why they're doing it. And it used to be just actors had their motivation. It was internal, and then they acted that certain way. It didn't need to be like handheld, candy fed to the audience. Like it's kind of insulting, how all this happened in like the last 10 years or so.
It's so funny that you picked the X-Men as an example, because part of the reason for their creation was Stan Lee was sick of writing origin stories for individual
Yeah.
characters. So he said, "You're all mutants."
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't written to be an allegory for anything. It's, I'm tired of doing this. You're all the X gene. Here we go. But I think you guys are absolutely right. It's not about, when I said my whole point of bringing it up is that they're all gay in these shows to be gay. They're not here to be characters who just happen to be gay. They're there to be gay, to shove it in your face and look at our diversity and inclusion. That's what it's about. I mean, I have a character in a story. You don't find out he's gay until a toss-away line at the end of a chapter, and then it has no meaning whatsoever. You just happen to find out because it's a part of that moment, and he says it as an exiting line, something that gives it away, and it actually means something in that moment that it has nothing. He's gay, but it doesn't define his personality. Because you read the rest of the story with his characters in there, you wouldn't know it. I don't make a big deal out of it, but he's in there because it makes sense for that moment to understand it. But it doesn't define him. And that's what you guys pointed out. these things, your color, your sexuality, your ethnicity, your religion. It's not about being there. It's about when you put it in the show and you demand that that is the ultimate defining characteristic of this character. That's what we're sick of. It's that silly little one lens that they all have to look through and don't understand.
And perfect example is, and it's coming out here soon, Ironheart. Ironheart, the only reason Ironheart exists is because they're like, we have the successful, rich, white, misogynistic dude. And so we'll do the exact opposite. She's poor, she's black, she's a woman, lesbian, I'm pretty sure it's, we haven't said, but I'm sure that's where they're going with it. As a complete counterbalance, that it's in their mind somehow they're balancing a scale that is unfair to society, that Tony Stark is such a popular character, and they failed completely because that show's dead on arrival. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and they know it too. They're already running cover saying, "Oh, it's not passing the mantle. It's not this, or it was a certain way in the comics, but now we're doing a different kind of way." And it's just garbage. I recently watched Iron Man, the movie 2008 again, like a couple days ago, and it holds up. Yes, like, you could see the character development, and like I was talking about origin stories, but that origin it's so connected because you see it before. And then it goes like 36 hours late before. So I like that it has like an origin, but kind of in the middle, I guess, in a way. And it just, everything's great about that. Like,
it's a great movie. I do have some things to add on to about Ironheart. There are other considerations that most of the public is unaware of regarding that character, its creation, and its creator. So Brian Michael Bendis is also the guy who developed Miles Morales, right? First of all, and he there was one other too. I forget which character it is. Anyway, it was a white guy creating black characters for diversity for his children who were all adopted from Africa, right? Problem with Riri Williams is that he has gone on and stated that not only has he created these characters so that his adopted children can have somebody who looks like them in these roles, which is in fact, taking away from other characters, the mantle passing, if you will. But the specific daughter that he said inspired Riri was underage at the time, which normally wouldn't be an issue, except that the whole Ironheart thing, the name, the design of the costume is extremely reminiscent, if not outright stolen, from a Japanese adult porn movie that came out 2 years prior to the debut of Riri Williams. There's some very possibly sick shit going on there that a lot of people are fucking unaware of, and they should maybe look a little closer into this.
Well, you should bring that up, Sam. Just for
I've seen.
I didn't make that connection, but I saw FNT or whoever it was bring it up this past week. And
I've been talking about it for 2 years and nobody's listening.
Somebody heard you.
Anyway, so I think we've tracked this thing. There's a lot goes into it, and it's gonna get better, but it's gonna get better in a way that will turn, I think, future shows and viewings. It's gonna be unlike what we were used to back.
It's exposed now. And everybody knows it. People aren't denying it. Like, we're at the point where it's saying, yeah, it is happening, but it's a good thing it's happening. So
what we're going to get is we're not going to go back to the way it was. We're going to get a hybrid, I think, going forward of how it used to be and what it is now. Yeah. And it's going to come from a lot of different places, and hopefully better people get in charge.
The only other thing I'm afraid of is like the overemphasis on CGI, on the volume, the backgrounds. I don't know if anybody else is seeing this, but it's driving me nuts. I get it, like in fantasy, sci-fi, you need to have green screens and the best like CGI technology, but they're doing it where they have like procedural lawyer shows, or it's even in an office, and the whole back thing is like a green screen, and it's just like two actors. It's like a stage show, and I don't know, it just doesn't have that feel in like a normal kind of office setting. I don't like that.
I agree. Like, they just a couple weeks ago, they showed a thing that in what, I don't know if it was in game, I think it was in game, every single uniform in Endgame
It's Endgame.
was fake.
It's Endgame. Yeah.
It was all CG. Even the clothing is CG now. They're not even going to the thing of making practical clothing or armor or anything. It's just all fake. Every single thing in a movie is fake, to the point where it's just like you said, 2 actors sitting in green screen suits in front of a green screen wall, and we'll put everything else in post production or whatever. Like, it's so stupid now.
Well, with Vec
And it
3, we
takes
don't
away
even need
from
the
the
actors.
acting. Yep.
Yeah.
And if people are pissed about AI and all that stuff, like actors and unions about losing jobs, well, you're kind of giving it to them over this time
Yeah.
by, just slowly taking away the whole acting experience. And they're just phoning it in. And I've
Well,
heard about these
it's-
now, like pop-up like studios or whatever. So I'm sure like even like rich and famous people, they'll have their own green screen in their home that they can like, okay, I'm going to film my thing and then send it off and I'll get $5 million for it. And then, and then James Earl Jones, selling his voice to the, I don't know. That's the only thing that's scaring me. Is just like it takes
Well,
away from
people
that
have
quality.
sold their likenesses for years. I mean, people want to make a big deal about the James Earl Jones thing. George Lucas bought the likenesses of Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, and Carrie Fisher for Luke, Han, and Leia 40 years ago. He bought their likes. That's why on every single one of these covers for decades, they looked exactly like them. Sometimes taken from shots of the movies. Like that's Leia from Hoth transposed over this. So
yeah. Well, that's a hard copy thing. You know what I mean? But the whole like immersing yourself in, because when you watch something, you kind of want to be in there with that person. Be like, oh, what would I do
you
in that
want that
situation?
uncanny valley to be small.
Yes.
And the problem is it's getting wider and wider, and we see it now as the problem.
Yep.
And we're not able to have full escapism. We're constantly pulled back and disengaged from what we're watching.
Yeah, there is something weird about the voice doing it. Like, they could literally make James Earl Jones say whatever they want, and it just that kind of. I agree that is disturbing.
I don't know what the answer
kind of
is.
power.
You
Well,
once
the
made
answer is-
Denzel say something, so
in that-
I'm just saying.
In the case of Vader, you know what the answer to Vader is? Let Vader go. There's no more stories to tell with Darth Vader.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, let it go. I mean, his stories ended decades ago.
The only thing I wanted to see was Vader right after the whatever Order 66.
And there's a book on that. There's
there's books on it.
There's a
If
real
Disney
book on
wanted,
that.
yeah, when they did
Comic books, video games cover that. Yeah.
Like pre-Disney. What I'm saying, there's pre-Disney stuff out there covering that. Yeah.
right. And if Disney wanted to make that back when they bought it, and like that would have been the first show or movie you make. That would have been absolutely incredible if they did it the right way.
That would have been smart, but they're not
rather
smart.
than Acolyte and all this.
Oh yeah.
Or even when they did Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah.
No, that show never should happen.
I didn't mean to get on that, but yeah,
No, it's fine.
it's a weird thing. It's
All right. I think we've reached a good place on that. I think we've answered the questions that I was thinking about on that. So let's have a little fun. We like to do that here. We're all gamers. Some of us were there, some of us weren't, but we have likely played some of these games. 1997 was a good year. It was a good year for games. So here's a little good old fashioned pick. I bring these up once in a while. I keep them saved for moments like this when we're all here. These are great games. In 1997. Let's go through this list. Now this is 97. I was very personally focus fired in what I played. I didn't stray out of the RPG genre very much because if I did, I rented a game. From a place called Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, if I was going to buy something, I was buying RPGs. And this is 97. There are technically 4 that I played. One of them I couldn't play. I could not play one of them because I didn't have the computer for it at the time. Because they weren't making games for my computer right then. There are 4 outstanding RPGs in here, or these RPG aspects. And I'll talk about those, and then I'll turn over to you guys. I mean, right here, you go to the list. One, I couldn't play Dark Forces 2 because it wasn't available for Apple computers back then. They didn't have that kind of cross-platform. So I didn't get to play that at the time. But I did play Grandia. Oh, fantastic RPGs. This is Game Arts at its height. They made Lunar, all that stuff. It's a fantastic game. turn-based JRPG, fun, great deep story about a kid who's an archaeologist who has dreams of crossing this giant wall that is in his world to find out the secrets of a civilization that came before and the adventure that ensues. It's fantastic. And then Breath of Fire 3, what should have been the end of the franchise. It connects all the games. It connects 1 and 2. It's the biggest one they've made. The dragon transformation system was epic. So much fun, so colorful, so engaging. These are both games on the PlayStation 1. And then, of course, you have what at the time I called the Gate Burster, the Gate Buster, FF7, original version FF7. No one had ever seen anything like that. This is Square Enix revolutionizing Final Fantasy and turn-based combat and turn-based RPGs in a whole new way. The biggest undertaking with then the polygon graphics, stuff like that. It blew our minds. And then the pseudo one that I love too, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. You go in there thinking you're going to play a Castlevania side-scroll game, and it turns out it's an RPG. There's levels, there's gears, there's equipment, there's moves. It's out of this world. And then you discover inverted castle, and it's like, whoa, there's more to the game. It was outstanding. And those are just like the RPGs on this list. But there are other iconic games listed that I know you guys are going to jump into.
I mean, Fallout is an RPG,
but it was PC and I never played it.
Right.
So.
But it is an RPG. It's and it's a great one at that. It's a top-down isometric view, turn-based, set in a very interesting world that like they hadn't really covered much in video games up to that point. The whole post-apocalyptic after the nuclear bombs fall kind of thing. So Fallout was a great game, and so was Fallout 2. It was after while I enjoy 3, New Vegas, and 4, I do enjoy them. New Vegas probably most of all. Honestly, these were the best Fallout games, 1 and 2. They were fantastic. I also played Tomb Raider. I played, I think, all the Tomb Raiders up through, I don't know, whichever one came out in like 2008 or whatever. Tomb Raider 2 was one of my favorites because this one had some interesting and fun and unique ways you could kill Lara Croft in it. Like the Hand of Midas, if you stepped on it, it would turn you into a block of gold. Game over. For instance, there's also a fall in the final battle, right? That it takes her 3.5 full recorded screams to hit bottom where there's lava that will break your neck and catch you on fire. I had so much fucking fun with that game. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. You're absolutely right about that one. It's just, I was playing that fucking earlier this year. It's a great fucking game.
Oh, yeah.
Played Final Fantasy VII a bunch of times. I was never into JRPGs at that point. I was not a JRPG guy that time. Final Fantasy was one of those ones that sort of reached across genre boundaries.
That's why I
like
called
everybody.
Buster.
Yeah,
That's
everybody played that.
Yeah.
I played the shit out of Quake 2. I even had a mod that turned all of the arenas into basically the Leviathan tunnels from Hellraiser Hellbound or Hellbound Hellraiser 2, which was really fucking cool. You could do all kinds of shit with Quake 2. They were also the ones who set the precedent for the Unreal Engine down the road, and changed the face of gaming physics forever. And this was the beginning of that. Very, very cool game. 4 shooter. Played the shit out of GoldenEye with my friends too. Lots of GoldenEye. But otherwise, yeah, is that Star Fox 64 down there next to GoldenEye?
I believe so.
Yeah. I was never any good at those games, so we just saw how many buildings we could crash through before we exploded for fun. They were fun, but I could never complete any of the objectives in that. It was a hard game.
I played Star Fox 64 in '99 when I was babysitting a friend's N64 at college because his girlfriend was angry and he wanted it kept safe. So he gave it to me for safekeeping, and I kept it in my room. So yeah. I played it there.
But most of the rest of these I've heard of, but I've never actually touched. I didn't have a 64, so any 64 games I played at my friend's house.
Mm.
Yeah, I had 64 day one, so I was playing all these games. I actually worked that summer, did a lot of hard work in order to get a 64 eventually. So yeah, Mario Kart was freaking amazing. So it's so many hours on that, playing both solo and then with friends. And then Diddy Kong Racing was okay. I played that if everybody else wanted to play it, but really wasn't my thing. Tekken was awesome. So I had friends that had PlayStation. So I had the 64. They had PlayStation. So we were playing all those Tekken 3.
Yeah, that's how it was back in the day. You had the thing, and somebody had
you couldn't have
else.
everything. Yeah.
But
yeah, GoldenEye. That's probably GOAT.
Yeah.
There's no hands down.
Because
that had the single player, and then the multiplayer was just amazing. Like I would do proximity mines and then just lay out the whole thing and just let everybody walk into them.
Dude, if you put a proximity mine on an opponent's head, like the back of their head where they can't see it, when it activates, they just explode.
Yep. And proximity mine on like the body armor too.
Yeah.
I've told the story before of playing, entire weekends playing with my friends, and we were playing, and they decided to team up, and one was Odd Job and one was playing as Jaws, and everyone knows Odd Job, you can't freaking hit him if you came down, and so they thought it was real funny to team up and piss me off, and so I spawned back in, killed them both, laid down some mines and blew myself up, and then wouldn't respawn in. So they got all butthurt and pissed off because they couldn't really get their revenge. So they kept egging me on and giving me shit. So I spawned back in, killed them both twice, and then did it again. Committed suicide again. And
that's why you got to set the you got to set the ground rules, man. Slappers only, big head mode, no Odd Job.
No Odd Job. That's what I heard. I mean, I didn't do GoldenEye because I didn't have any friends with an N64, so it wasn't something I didn't do. But I did always hear stories. Everybody going, "Motherfucker played Odd Job." Fuck that
Odd Job. Did you know the big head mode? It's called DK mode. Donkey Kong. Is that what I thought? DK mode.
Yeah. You had the same problem with Odd Job in I want to say Tekken 2 or 3, where they introduced the character of Gon, right? Who was just like tiny little dinosaur that every one of your blows would go right over his head. You couldn't hit him.
Yeah. Because he also, when he did his punch, he would like dunk down because he was a boxer. He had boxing gloves on. And yeah, every time he dunked down on his punches, so your kicks would go over his head, your punches would go over his head. He was a bitch.
Yeah, and Star Fox was okay. Like, I'm with you. It was too tough to. I'm like, all right.
I beat it. No, I did beat that. It took me like a week, but I did beat it because I had nothing else to play. So I'm like, I
couldn't stay with it.
But I mean, one thing is interesting. You guys are bringing this stuff up about this. This is the late 90s. There's no online play when you're doing this shit. Especially like with the N64, which had the built-in 4 connectors for 4 controllers. You're in there with your buddies. Or in my case, I bought the multi-tap accessory for my PS1 and then my PS2. So you're there with your buddies. You're in the same room. Pizza, soda, all that kind of shit. You're in there for hours. You stink.
Split screen.
Split screening in some of these cases, yeah. Or you're playing sports games and it's the whole thing right there. You're in there. You're having fun. It's not. It was a different time and a different experience. I mean, granted, I love the hell out of the fact that right now, mostly every weekend, I can play Dark Tide. I can play Star Trooper with the boys. We can get in there. We're all across the country right now. All of us in this very show right now. We are all in literally different parts of the country, and we can do this. We can log in and play games together. That's great, but we're adults. When you're a teenager, especially back then, it was the thing you did to hang out with your buddies because you're in high school or in college, early college. It's what you did. And it meant something. It meant something.
Well, you mentioned you didn't have the internet, but you also didn't have the internet to get past a level that you were working on, or something was going on with GoldenEye, with any of the RPGs and stuff like that. The only way to do that was to buy a walkthrough, a player's
strategy guide.
Yeah.
For
I always, even my golden rule was, I'm going to beat something, then I'll buy a strategy guide for fun.
Yep.
For funsies then. And I had the FF7 strategy guide. I had it, but after I beat it, there is no way I would have figured out how to beat Emerald Weapon. It didn't occur to me at that time to link Mime and Ultima together to just chain kill that thing. because when I play these things, I'm traditionally a tank and spank. I'm just gonna tank it. I'm gonna take the damage. I'm gonna heal my way through it. I'm just gonna keep beating it down, chipping away until something's dead. But FF7 made you think about strategies. That's why it was one of those revolutionary RPGs at the time. You had to come up with different strategies to beat some of these optional bosses. An Emerald weapon and Ruby weapon. The other weapons, that was simple tank and spank. Boom, burned them down. But Ruby weapon and Emerald weapon require strategy. And at least for Emerald weapon, never occurred to me to use Mime and Ultima. Never.
Dude, GoldenEye, I was stuck in that train car for probably a week, or at least it felt like it. It didn't occur to me to use the watch as a laser to undo the thing. Like, I kept getting blown up in that freaking boxcar. Yeah, until I finally figured it out.
Yeah.
Watch the movie.
Well, I mean,
the movie.
Yeah,
even what you're talking about,
I played the game before the movie or something like that.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
when you talk about that time period, though, like, you know, and yeah, we shared information with each other, and you'd find stuff in games magazines, you know, back when games
Nintendo
journalists
Power.
actually did their jobs, and all of that. But even going further back, like, how is it that every single person who has ever owned an NES system, an 8-bit NES system, knows that you have to blow on the fucking cartridge to make it work,
one
right?
told me
That
that.
wasn't on the internet. That wasn't published. The internet wasn't a fucking thing yet, but we all knew it.
Yep.
Yeah,
I did
that's
it.
wild.
5 to 10-year-old me.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. Don't tell me it didn't fucking work. It worked.
Yeah, there'd be always people that said it doesn't work, and I'm like,
No, it
you're
absolutely
gaslighting me
works.
before
It absolutely
gaslighting was a
fucking
thing.
works.
You have to understand the pins are gonna line up either way. No, go fuck yourself. It fucking worked every damn time.
Or they're like, it ruins it. I'm like, I don't
No,
know.
it didn't.
It didn't. Not for mine. I don't know what you're doing
Yeah.
to yours.
Yeah. And
So,
it
but
was
you know,
the
like
yeah.
these were the kinds of things that, like, you'd hear through the grapevine, or maybe you didn't hear. Maybe it was osmosis. I don't know. But we all knew these things, like, early on. There was no widespread informational tool like the internet at that time. And then later on, when you're talking like 97, like, there was internet at that time. There were even certain games on PC that you could play online, but it was obviously in a much more limited capacity than you can now. Like Quake, for example, was one of those games, because they were really, they were really the ones who brought arena shooter combat to, wider audiences, that kind of thing. But
when I was sorry.
Well, it did exist. It just wasn't, what it is now, right?
Yeah.
So most of the time
You're
you have
actually
things
right.
like GoldenEye on 64 with the split screen and 4 players and that sort of thing.
That was a game changer.
Yeah, I miss split screen actually quite a bit.
I remember Quake 1. When I was in high school, there was a dude who installed it on all the school computer library computers.
Mhm.
And after school, there'd be like 4 or 5 of us up there playing Quake in the school library. It's like, I'm thinking to myself, well, I got to go to play practice. I was the stage manager for the plays, but I'm going to play Quake for like half an hour with you guys before I go down there. Because it's fun, because we're doing, and we're horrible to each other. I mean, back then, it's the same as the split screen. You're all in the same room and you're all talking shit and doing horrible things to each other and saying the worst possible things.
Nope.
But that's what it is. And yeah, we do that now. But you guys brought up the point. There was something about the in-person connectivity of the time, because there
was
wasn't
more
the
of a competition, because at least the way that we played it, if you lost, or you're the last one, you had to pass up your controller and somebody else,
King of the Hill.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, fighting game tournaments in your living room, man. Yeah, it's like whoever won got to keep going. Whoever lost had
and
to
then you had
pass
to
it
like
the
sit
next
there and watch. And if you paid attention, you can learn your mistakes and then win the next time around.
That's essentially arcade rules. As long as you're winning, you get to stay.
Mm-hmm.
You get to stay. That's what we did when we had at college. This is still early on, so this is still late 90s at college. We had an event that we put together, and we would have different types of gaming, and one of them was consoles hooked up with TVs, and we had fighting games there. We had Soul Calibur, when somebody brought in their Dreamcast and they put it on there. King of the Hill, that was the rule. It was just one rule. You as long as you're winning, you get to play. And I had a run where I was king. I was Cervantes, and I just owned it for like 30 minutes. Couldn't be stopped. Then some motherfucker came in, kicked my ass, and it's like, back of the line, bitch.
Yeah. I used to do that with not even that long ago.
one of my brothers and his wife and their kids would come up to visit from another state, another location, and I'd have my kids there, his kids there, his wife also played and all that stuff, and we would play whatever Soul Calibur happened to be the thing at the time. In that fashion, we'd all play. We'd all play. We taught the next generation old school tournament rules.
Yep. And there's something about, even though I love online play, like I said, because it allows us to be able to hang out, being all over the country, but there is something to be said about the in-person experience, for lack of a better term, the arcade experience of everybody in the same place, in the same room, pizza, drinks, hanging out, having a good time. It's something that unfortunately is lost because, at least in my case, I don't have my physical friends anymore. We have long since gone our separate ways. We're not even on touch on the internet. All my friends are you guys now. And the only way we get to hang out outside of meetups and stuff like that, or as we slowly congregate closer together to do stuff as we are trying to, create businesses together, is this. And I am grateful for this. It allows me to hang out with you guys and play games and do stuff like this. But I do miss the in-person stuff. I do. There was having been born of that era, and I know what it used to be like, and I miss it to an extent. It is fun. It was great, and I would love to still do it. Except this time, we're not all on the same machine, but all our machines are in the same place, and we're in the same room, and we're in the same building or same region. It's
all your base are belong to us.
Oh my God, I remember when that happened. Oh, that everybody hated everybody.
I'm in your base, wrecking all your shit.
Everybody hated that thing when that meme happened. My God, that's an era. That's early freaking internet, man. All your
Leroy Jenkins when that changed.
Oh, that was more of a joke than anything.
Yeah.
At least if you were an MMO player like I was, you understood it better than anybody. Like, oh, there's now we now have a term to call those dumb motherfuckers.
Dude, Leroy Jenkins I never played World of Warcraft. I hate the idea of fucking MMOs that are made from games that I used to love. The same reason I didn't play fucking
DC
Star Wars The Old Republic, because I was a fan of KOTOR, right? So but everybody knew the Leroy Jenkins meme. That shit broke barriers.
Jenkins. And the ending of it. God damn it, Leroy. I'm gonna get some fried chicken. You know what? Fuck it. Let's watch it. Let's fucking watch it. Let's do it. I haven't watched that thing in forever. Let's bring up Leroy Jenkins. Let's bring up Leroy Jenkins. Let's do it. It is a classic. I love it. I haven't watched that in years. There it is.
That's how I play Monster Hunter.
How many hits does it have?
26 million.
Wow.
10 years ago.
That low. I thought it'd be more than that at this point.
Well, I think it's still in the zeitgeist, but it has run its course.
New people aren't watching it.
Yeah. We're doing this out of nostalgia. So let's relive one of the greatest internet video game memes of all time. Here we go. I love it. Let's do it. What the hell? I put it on audio. Am I muted? No. There we go.
Okay, guys. These eggs are giving us a lot of trouble in the past. Does anybody need anything off this guy, or can we bypass him?
I think Leroy needs something from this guy.
Oh, he needs those devout shoulders. Isn't he a paladin?
Yeah, but that'll help him heal better. He'll have more mana.
Here it comes.
Christ. Okay. Well, what we'll do, I'll run in first, gather up all the eggs so we can kind of just, blast them all down with AoE. I will use Intimidating Shout to kind of scatter them. So
all right, now this is great because this is pure MMO nerd shit. Where
I don't remember this part.
Your raid leader, and I've done this shit. It's like, okay, guys, you know the plan. So do this. You know how you're gonna do. Nobody talk. You're the raid lead. You're laying out the rules. Your squad, your team, they know what you're doing, and you think everything's fine. And then here we go.
Bunch of them at once. When my shout's done, I'll need Anthony to come in and drop his shout too, so we can keep them scattered, not to fight too many. When his is done, Bass, of course, will need to run in and do the same thing. We're going to need divine intervention on our mages so they can AE, so we can, of course, get them down fast because we're bringing all these guys. I mean, we'll be in trouble if we don't take them down
I respect
quick.
this guy.
I think it's pretty good.
He's just laying it all out. I mean, to some people, this is the most boring shit in the world, but this is how you win a raid. You made sure everybody understood the rules, the battle plan. You knew it was going to go on. And then, like I said, it happens.
Plan. We should be able to pull it off this time. What do you think, Abdul? Can you give me a number crunch real quick?
Yeah, give me a sec. I'm coming up with 32.33, repeating, of course, percentage of survival.
Oh, it's a lot better than we usually do.
All right, thumbs up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy
Jenkins! Leroy Jenkins! It's like, and then now chaos.
Oh my
Probably
God,
a
I just
Marine.
ran in. Save him.
Oh, geez, stick to the plan.
Oh, Jesus. Let's go. Stick to the plan, Jeff.
Stick to the plan.
Oh, gee. Oh, fuck. Give me divine intervention. Hurry up. I can't cast. I can't move. Am I lagging, guys? I can't move. What the hell? I can't AE. Oh, my God. The eggs keep responding. I don't think you can cast with that shit. Oh, my God. Get off. I got it. Get off.
They're trying their best. They are trying their best to recover from this god-awful thing. And if you know, you know. It's nearly impossible to recover from a bad start because no one's in place. Your healers aren't ready. The tanks don't have their buffs up. The timers aren't rolling, and it's just
this was a wash the moment he ran in.
Yeah, I know. There's no chance. There's no chance, and they're trying. You got to they're trying their asses off. They didn't just like normally in this day and age. Somebody do that, we just go, yeah, you're dead. We're gonna wait for you to respawn now, dumbass. But no, they tried. They tried, man. They tried.
Oh, my God.
God damn it, Leroy.
I love
God
that.
damn it. Leroy, you moron.
Leroy. This is ridiculous.
Dumbass. I'm down, forking down. God damn it. I killed before I could remove all this. God. Oh, Spiffy, res us.
Why do you do this shit, Leroy?
I'm trying.
It's not my fault.
Who's so sorry?
I forgot about that part.
Fault.
It's 100% your fault, dude.
I love it.
We do have a soul stone up, don't we?
Hey, I don't think you got soul stones. Warlock. Oh, God.
Oh, for
great job. For Christ's sake. Leroy, you were just stupid as hell.
Oh,
man.
Here it
At
goes.
least I have chicken.
It's funny.
Chicken.
It's funny because like this is what we would do in like army training, like, but it would be like, it'd take hours because we'd have the plan, the squad leader, and all this stuff, and support, and all these things, and you're going against another team that's doing the same thing, and you have to once you start going, you have to like play it out, even if you got some fuckhead that's doing their wrong thing. And then it takes like an hour because you got to get reset up and break down what happened. And if you're the leader, it's like, I had the best plan and we're all on the same page except for one dude.
Oh, it's even worse with that one because you have to fight all the way to that area. That was a dungeon that they had to go all the way to. And that's why they were planning it out, because you get all the way through that and takes time. And then that last little bit is a bitch to get through.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're in a leadership, if you're in an army school, like you had to get there. It's like in a different state, and it's like you're trying to you're trying to pass and everything. And go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, real quick. Of one, Kel is right. It's a shame it was fake because that wasn't real. But at the same time, Jay Fraser for 200 pounds. Hail, gents. Thanks to the fellowship for this month's distraction. My great friend Kenny Stevenson was finally laid to rest. Oh, dude, F cancer, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
man.
F cancer.
Advice to my nerds: FFs will write for fuck's sake, write a will and include your massive physical media collection. Oh no, sorry to be a downer, but keep nerding out and good night. No, Jay Fraser, man, thank you. And I am happy that we are able to provide you entertainment. You have been a stalwart member of this chat, of our circle, and of the fellowship in general. You're in everybody's chats, man. I see you all the time. Thank you for your support. And because it
100%.
counts, towards it, because this is a stream that does count toward it, that adds to that puts us in a massive total of our current tiers. In fact, we're going to have to create new tiers now because we blew by all the tiers that I had set up for my Day of Doom, my Week of Doom. So current total is
Way to level up.
It's at 1855 now. Well, actually, I'll have to redo the math because I have to get the conversion for that. I'll change it later. But thank you, Jay Fraser. I'll have to get the conversion from pounds to dollars for those. That's British pounds. Dude, thank you, man. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, well, remember to wash my hands after Derby with bleach and razor wire. Yeah, my right hand's never going to be the same.
No, they
No, we're
mentioned
gonna have to
something
amputate.
good.
He's gonna
Yeah.
get secondhand hairy palm.
Oh,
is he
that's
gonna go? Is he gonna go blind by association too?
Well, I'm already got that eyesight. So what am I going to do?
No, but like the
Uh,
message said, have a will. Like coming from a guy who, one next day he's in a coma, and then paralyzed and, fighting back. Yeah. Have a will, write it out, update it yearly, talk to people that are in it. And yeah, it should just be like a game plan. If the worst, it's called like a just in case, just in case something happens. And yeah, if you got comics, physical media, electronics, like that, all should go to the right place.
Yeah.
To add to that, if you purchase a life insurance policy in addition to the will, just to make sure that your loved ones are taken care of, don't tell people that you did that.
Yeah, it's a
Because
thing.
somebody will try to kill you.
Yeah, it's inevitable. It will, it's something that will happen. You can't just pretend like, oh, I'm never going to die, it's or get sick. Like it's something that will happen. It's just a matter of how prepared you are, when that time comes.
Yeah, and like I said, and F cancer, man, F that. If someone ever feeling well, make sure you get yourself checked out on stuff. Make sure you got good doctors. That's kind of a problem we have today in a lot of areas. A lot of not good doctors around anymore. That's one of
Ask
the
your
reasons.
doctor questions. Be your own.
Big questions. Yes,
Yep.
that is a perfect word, dude. That's what my mom taught me that from a young age. Be your own advocate.
Yep. Don't just
ask those
listen to
questions.
learn from me, like do research and then bring that research to your doctor. And if you're not feeling it with them, then go find another one. And you can have multiple, like
because they don't know everything. They don't.
No, they're just
And-
humans. They don't have a magic wand, you know.
And some of them are out to grift you. I mean,
Well,
last
that's
year,
the thing. They are just humans, and humans can be bought. So just keep that in mind at all times.
last year, some of you will remember this. I was having a little bit of a urinary problem in terms of I felt like I had to constantly go to the bathroom. Turned out it was just kidney stone, but nobody could tell me that. And I walked into a urologist, and they didn't tell me shit. They had me have to go to do some radiology 3 weeks later, and out the door before I even left, they just charged me $250 for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Pay attention to that stuff, how it costs, your
Yeah.
plans, your copays, your premiums. It's not fun, but it's worse if it catches you, in the bad spot.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's
F Cancer
wild.
and Jay Fraser, man, thank you for your generosity, dude. You know what this means
Yeah,
to
I'm
me.
sorry
You
to
know-
hear about Kenny, man.
Yeah,
That sucks.
and sorry about your friend and F Cancer. And I'm glad we were here for you to help you good times, because that's the intention of what we're doing. A lot of what we do around here. We're here to be, and I know it's a term that's hated, but it's the best way to put it. We're here to be a community of buddies and pals where we're here for each other, hang out, provide a good time, escape. We're here to provide the escapism that regular entertainment doesn't do anymore, and provide you with fresh stuff. So thank you, Jay Fraser. Massively generous of you, my friend. And you, as always, man, thank you for being here. And you take it easy. Whatever you need to do to rest up mentally from this and recover, we're here for you, dude. You're always welcome here.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Like grieve in your own way for sure. And then
Always
take
grieve,
that
though.
time.
Find a way to grieve. It's the only way
And
to
then
get through
get back into it and learn from it, something from the experience. I don't know your buddy, but I'm sure, they want you to do well in life.
Yep, he sounds like a man who drank from a hose as a kid.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, I had to fit it in somewhere.
You just had to bring it back, didn't you?
I talked about it on my stream earlier too. Actually, Ariel was in my chat talking shit about you the entire time.
Oh my
She kept
God.
calling you the Adam.
I forgot to change it. I mean, the Adam. Her and Dom have created new lore. I forgot to change.
Now, what is it?
from the
You've
last
never done that as a kid? You never
No.
drink from a hose?
Okay,
you
excuse
need
me.
for that.
Do you have one on the side of your house, place?
No, I lived in. Well, okay. Well, excuse me. When I was a kid, if drinks were always provided to me wherever I went, I didn't need to drink from a hose.
That doesn't help your case.
He called the butler to get his Capri Suns.
There we go.
Do you have an Aquafina in your pool too?
No, I lived.
The J-Lo had.
This is the days of like high C drink boxes. There was always being drink boxes with high C and all that
I
stuff.
bet the
It was
hose
just
water is probably healthier for you than the Ecto Cooler High C.
Ecto Cooler was awesome. It was delicious. It was delicious. All right.
Okay,
That's
that
right.
needs to be a
And
tier. You need to
expensive.
go to somebody's house that has
No,
a
I'm not
hose
drinking from a
and drink
fucking
from
hose.
hose.
I'm not drinking from a fucking hose. All right.
You should
Then
drink
they
from
have-
Dermy's hose.
You shut the fuck up.
We should all contribute some of our hose water to a jar and have him drink it so he gets triple.
No. What are y'all gonna
triple man
spit?
immunities?
What are y'all gonna spit in and put other shit in there? I ain't taking any unchecked beverages from you. From
It's
you
good
Eden
for you to put
barbarians.
hair on your balls.
I've got plenty of hair on my balls. Got hair in plenty of places I don't want. I'm old. All right. Jesus Christ. All right. You know what? Just
Wait
for that,
a minute. I got a question. Have you ever pissed outside?
Of course,
Either?
I pissed outside.
Okay. Well, that's kind of same.
I've pissed outside. With no hands. I don't need hands. Just unzip and let it fly. Anyway, the
Pretty hard
one
to
thing I don't
recommend a
do
curse
don't
within the
drink
snow
home.
that way.
Oh my God! Shut up. Oh my God. All right. You know what? I'm gonna make you sad now. I'll make you sad. You forced my hand. We're gonna talk about my article that I had up. All right.
Knowing there's a man out there that didn't drink from a hose makes me sad. You've already done it.
Well, you know what? You deal with Dermy as much as I do, so you're already sad. Anyway, so we've done our moments of getting over losing Dragon Age, but we are months since this disaster happened, and with the success of all these indie games are doing, like right now, top of the list, Attribution 33. If we're talking RPGs, such a huge success. Excuse me. It's been fantastic. Here we go. Liar. You're not banned. Nobody's banned.
Quit banning people.
Nobody's banned. None of you are banned. Good Lord.
Well,
I should start.
Congratulations.
Tom's not banned. Tom was here an hour ago. He left of his own accord.
Congratulations, Ariel, on breaking in. I knew you could do it.
Yeah, when she breaks into your chat with a strap on, then we'll see how happy you are, okay? She's going to be there eventually. Trust me. She gets around.
Dude,
anyway,
she outlined a very specific plan about knocking you out of your ivory tower earlier today.
First of all, she and Dom are the ones that put me in that tower, okay? That was born from me talking. We were talking about the Matrix, and all I did was said, when you're dreaming, what's the first thing you do? You fly around like Neo. And then I said, and then when I'm flying, I go looking for boobs. And then suddenly it turned into I'm the atom in a tower looking down upon the world. They birthed this whole weird lore that I don't know where it came from.
Yep, and he does the little speech. You need me in that tower. You want me in that tower.
Don't worry. His kryptonite is hose water.
Why I'm in this tower.
Oh my God. All right. So we were there though when Dragon Age fell, and it's been months. And thanks to games like Attribution 33 and other indie games coming out right now, it's shining a giant light. Just like we were talking about all those great games from the late 90s, which were released complete. Let's remember that. Games like that were released complete and done. And games like modern games like Dragon Age, like Assassin's Creed Shadows, like all these other so-called AAA games made here and now, they are all released broken, or in very much Dragon Age's case, a poorly created and written game, which has become a bastardization of its former glory. So now in the wake of all this stuff, we get stuff like this. Dragon Age Veilguard star absolutely devastated over backlash, says people wanted to see BioWare fail. It's an idiotic stance to take. I bring this. I have a meme that I had up. Crap, I killed it. Hold on one second. Let me get it back up. I had another thing brought up a second ago here from my bookmarks. I had it for this conversation and accidentally just killed it, and I'm gonna get it again. Where we don't want these companies to die because the companies we're thinking about don't exist anymore. So let me bring this down. Let me add this to the tab right there so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. You remember EA owned BioWare. They owned BioWare and they made it. This is basically the murder list of what EA has done to gaming companies they absorb and game IPs they brought in. They have Mass Effect there to say Mass Effect Dragon Age. We don't want BioWare to die. We want EA to die. We want everything they've done to gaming to die. Rushed development, crunch, allowing being in as much case, especially with current day BioWare, being an absentee parent and letting psychopaths like Corinne Bush, a dude who's pretending to be a woman, make a game which is basically a gay dating simulator. Because that's what Dragon Age Veilguard was, a gay dating simulator. So,
and I remember back in the day, like EA was making like weird little niche games that I loved, like Road Rash.
Oh yeah,
you know, like that Road Rash were EA games in the early days and all that before they became this conglomerate that started swallowing up smaller studios. You know, I think actually wasn't the thing that really put them on the map after they started putting out like Madden Sports and like in NBA 2K or whatever. They made a deal with LucasArts.
Yeah.
Right. And they started producing like all of the, you know, like you go back far enough and all of the Star Wars games have LucasArts on them.
Yes.
Or have EA on them rather.
A good bunch of them. If they were PC based, they're PC based ones.
Right. And they did I mean, but you're talking like you know, Jedi Starfighter, the Jedi Power Battles, you know, Pod Racer, you know, all this stuff. And that really, I think, is what shot EA into the stratosphere, because then they started gobbling up everything.
And that was the beginning of the end. Because once you had one giant corpo in charge of this stuff, it became about the actual greed that we talked about earlier with stuff. Then it is about greed. It's just about turning people into not the customer, but the consumer who will just take it and pay the money without asking any questions. But we got this here. So Dragon Age star Alex Wilton has given her personal response to the backlash faced by last year's Dragon Age Veilguard and blamed the mixed reactions on people who wanted to see the game fail or wanted to see BioWare fail. No,
we wanted a good game. We wanted fucking Dreadwolf like we were promised fucking 8 years ago.
Yes, exactly.
Right. It ain't our fault that BioWare fucking threw out 2 perfectly good development teams in favor of her bullshit. Fuck her.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. We wanted Dreadwolf. We were promised the war against Solus, not whatever the fuck Veilguard turned into. The actor who plays the female Inquisitor in both Dragon Age Inquisition and Dragon Age Veilguard told IGN she was absolutely devastated to see BioWare's latest game fail to find a larger audience despite mostly positive review scores from critics. You mean paid for shills? You mean paid for shills who tried to tell us the game is great and then people made a choice on their own afterwards to not buy the game. And we know this game didn't even sell 2 million copies in the end. And they spent and Dre gave us what the numbers were on this, probably because it was in development for a decade. This game cost probably $400 or $500 million and required at least $1.5 billion to break even in sales, which is insane because that means you need to sell something like 15 million copies to get any sort of return. And Inquisition, the highest selling game of the franchise, topped out at 13.2 lifetime in sales. So they were never going to get the numbers they needed to break even. And when you totally reject your original fan base in favor of pink-haired, butt-sniffing losers, you are not going to even get close to having anything of success. Speaking during a new interview discussing her many iconic video game characters to date, as well as her role in Microsoft's upcoming Perfect Dark reboot, Wilton Regan said she had loved her time at BioWare's Inquisitor, though she did not believe the character would now return. Yeah, because they replaced her, and also her story was over. Or his story, whether it was the male or female Inquisitor. Once their arm was cut off, story was over. Done. That's the thing about Dragon Age. Every new chapter gets a new hero. And yes, there can be cameos, which there were, but every time you get a new hero, a new story, unfortunately, Rook's story was just about being gay and being in relationships. They took remember when it came out, the game originally supposed to be about stopping Solus from basically from declaring war on the world. It instead turned to a journey with your companions and your relationships with them, and you'll save the world along the way. I feel absolutely devastated for BioWare as a studio that they got such mixed reactions to the game.
Did you go mute?
Am I muted? I'm not
No,
muted.
I hear you.
Yeah, I'm here. I hear.
Hello?
I think
we hear you.
You might have lost your audio. Yeah, I think it's you.
Yeah, somebody type in the private chat real quick so you
I
can
got
see
it.
Tell me so. Okay. Private chat.
Adam,
Private
if you're
chat.
talking, I can't hear you.
Yeah, check private chat. Check private chat.
Devil,
try to
you
say-
there?
Yeah.
We hear you.
We hear you. You can't hear us.
Yeah, check private chat. Private chat.
Private chat.
Private chat. Okay, he saw it. He saw it. So she says, I personally thought it was a really strong game. I thought it was just BioWare being more BioWare. Well, no. I mean, let's be honest. As much as I like Inquisition, it was already not what it was before. I enjoy it. A lot of people hated it, frankly. We've had the discussion. A lot of people hated Inquisition. But BioWare was already leaning a certain way when they made Inquisition in terms of certain narratives. So that was a BioWare. This is not the BioWare that made KOTOR or Dragon Age Origins or Mass Effect 1 and 2.
Nope.
Right, he's back.
Or Neverwinter Nights or Baldur's Gate.
Or
Neverwinter
Nights. I like Neverwinter Nights too. That's my favorite of that series. I don't know. All right, here's Drew.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Like,
I love it. We're all going. Hear the chat.
It's like, yeah, we hear you, dude. You just don't hear us.
Yeah, and then my camera flipped and fucking StreamYard.
Well, you weren't banned, so you're fine. But yeah, so it already was changing, and so her saying it's the BioWare being more BioWare. No, you were already there when things were going downhill, honey. So and it wasn't. Like Sam said, it wasn't the time of Neverwinter Nights. It wasn't the time of those early games, which were just fantastic, immersive games. I mean, Neverwinter Nights, people don't realize that you go back to Neverwinter Nights, that franchise, that precedes Dragon Age and Mass Effect as choices matter. In you crafting the events. Because I played through.
So does KOTOR.
Oh, yeah, KOTOR. Yeah. It precedes KOTOR, too. Yeah, I played it. Did I play it before or after KOTOR? No, I played it after KOTOR. Or I played Neverwinter 2 Nights. Neverwinter Nights 2 after KOTOR.
Yeah, KOTOR was my first BioWare game, man. And there are at least 4 endings that are prior to the actual canon end of the game that you can activate at any. Like, I've been executed in that game, and it was game over.
And Neverwinter Nights 2, I played through it several times. At the very end, a character is going to betray you at the end. And when I played through it the first, I'm like, no, why did you betray me? And then I was all prepared for him to betray me. But then somebody else betrayed me on my next playthrough. I was like, what? What? No, I liked you. Why did you do this? I thought it was
You're the chosen one.
Yeah. So,
yeah, it was less scriptive and more immersive that way. Like it's not like Final Fantasy VII, where after you get past the end of disc 1, man, you just don't put any of your good gear on Aerith.
Yeah, you know what's coming. Or when you play Mass Effect 1, you're gonna strip Jenkins of all his gear because he's gonna die. And if you're playing a fresh game and you need money, you're gonna strip him naked so you can sell his gear. Or in Dragon Age Origins, you're gonna strip the warden hopefuls of all their gear before you get back to base because you're gonna need every bit of gold you can get and silver right there, and you know they're gonna die. So when they die, they drink the blood and die, or when Duncan kills the other guy, they're butt naked in the game if you know what you're doing. It makes it funny.
Yeah. Adam's making dudes butt naked.
See, you're making it gay. I'm making it monetary. I'm being a good Jew. I'm getting all the money I can out of the situation.
Well, I mean, you know,
sounds like an
say,
excuse. Just trying to save money, guys. Everybody get butt naked.
Adam over here emulating his brethren in the porn industry, right? He's monetizing their nudity and their suffering.
Hey,
oh no, everyone, we need money. Get butt naked.
Hey. A pimp's got to do what a pimp's got to do. Okay,
that's why me and Sam don't go on road trips with Adam no more.
Because you don't go on road trips with Sam because of the technical thing that happened last time. That's what.
Last time he was all, we need gas money, guys. You best get butt naked.
I mean, Adam, you knew who you were getting in a car with. Just saying.
Well, yeah, and I regret it every second of it, every invasive second. I also think that a lot of people kind of wanted to see it fail or want to see BioWare fail, either because they're just really bad people on the internet, of which there are unfortunately many. I mean, this is brain rot right here. This is ideological brain rot. This is somebody who believes that everybody who's a critic on the internet is nothing but an angry male toxic troll and just hates women and hates gays and hates black people. That's what somebody like this thinks.
I kind of hate her.
Yeah, well, we know how this works. It's cognitive dissonance. They have to think of a different reason than reality of why they're failing, why everything they're trying doesn't seem to be working. It can't be that people disagree with them or don't like the product they made or are sick and tired of what they're producing. No, it has to be some thing that's out of their control. Oh, we can't help it that people hate us. It's the way they have to operate, because otherwise they would have to admit that they've been on the wrong side of this and they've been going down the wrong freaking road for way too long, while all of us were sitting there saying, you guys, you're going to fuck your industry up if you keep doing this. And they told us we were bullshitting and we were stupid and we were dumb and we didn't know what we were talking about. And look at what happened. Now games, the only thing in video games making money is indie games and stuff. These big AAA games are collapsing and losing fortunes for these companies. And we were telling them this was going to happen years ago. And so instead of admitting that, oh my God, all those, Nick Beer chuds who live in their mom's basement who were warning us, they were right. No, instead it's, everyone is just, hates us and is racist and is sexist and all these bad things, and that's the reason they're not buying our games, not because we're producing absolute garbage at this point.
You're right.
What she's failing to account for is the fact that she was working on a doomed franchise to begin with, right? Just look at the way the production of the fourth Dragon Age game had gone from the very beginning when they started fucking needling at the producers, and the original guys walked, right? And then they get some other guys that they brought over from Mass Effect, and then they needled them till they fucking walked, and then they bring these fucking chuds in, to do whatever it is that they thought they were doing, but the fact is BioWare was already heading down, right? Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem were the start of that. They were already heading down. This was a chance for them to right the fucking ship, and they fucking failed, and now they're blaming us for it.
The truth of it is me, Adam, and Sam couldn't do the coding and the actually building of the game, but we, being fans of the franchise, have come up with a better fourth game story-wise in 2 weeks. Sitting in on stream like this, come up with a better story and a better freaking.
We've done it for
thing.
stuff. We've done it.
in 2 weeks, and they had how many years to do it?
10.
Like I said, we couldn't program it and stuff. We're not, computer whizzes, and we don't know how to do games. But that's not what failed there. It wasn't that the look of it and stuff. There was some issues, but that wasn't what made it fail. What made it fail was the agenda and the shitty story from all that I've heard. Because I didn't play it.
Ariel's asking us a question. I want to make sure we get that because she'll yell at me that I'm ignoring her. So we have more respect. A Attribution company just finally came out and says it. Well, they did say it towards the end through Corin Bush, the dude pretending to be a woman, admitted the game they were making in the final things. And EA was so retarded, they had been the absentee parent. They just put a stamp of approval and said, yeah, BioWare's being back to good old BioWare. It's going to be great. And then they got egg on their face and they ran away. Now this, I'm not going to do the No Man's Sky discussion again. I've given the respect for them coming back and fixing it, but they were forever wrong for the way it went out. I made my case on that stream. I'm not going to rehash that again. And how much would it cost for us to see that for story? I mean, whatever a payment would be for a story idea, for story information. I mean, whatever a going pay would be. And hell, I mean, of course we would want compensation, but I would give up compensation if it saved the franchise and meant more good games going forward. Because I will miss Dragon Age. I've made my peace with it. I've put it to bed. But I'm going to miss it. What I don't miss is, I lived in fear for years of Dreadwolf when then it became Veilguard because I knew this was going to happen. And then it finally happened. And the fact that it's come and gone, there's a level of peace that resides in me now where I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't. Honestly, Dragon Age is done. I haven't thought about Veilguard until this article came up on my screen a couple days ago. I haven't given a thought about it.
And then you inflicted it on us again.
Yes, because you won't let up with the goddamn hose. So
I mean,
yeah, well, yeah.
Drink from it and then it'll stop.
And you keep pushing it, and next horrible top 10 I find will go right into that. You know how this game works. I have no problems making you guys suffer.
I've got all of time, man, till the stars burn out if I need.
One of these days, there's going to be a meetup where we all are in the same place, and me and Sam are going to find a way to get you to drink hose water.
Yeah.
And somehow I'll work it so that you're making Dermy drink hose water, and we're all pointing and laughing at him instead.
Why would I laugh at him for doing a manly thing like drink from a hose?
Because he's going to do it gay, and you're going to be sad. That's what's going to happen.
Why is he going to drink from a penis bottle? Like how did you
Hey,
make
listen,
hose water gay?
I'm going to turn it around. You're all going to dance puppets dance, and somehow I will escape once again without drinking.
We're all going to be doing shots, and I'm going to
not helping the Jew allegations, buddy.
Yeah, that's true.
No, not get your hose water. Anyway, but back to this whole thing. This chick is completely in the wrong when she says at the end here, people were attacking the game before it was released. It's ridiculous. How can you judge a game, a book, a film, a TV show before it's actually released? Because they show us everything. And we're not supposed to believe the words they're telling us. We're supposed to ignore the fact that they spend articles telling us how it's alphabet mafia coded, how it's all about how it's a different story than we were promised. How it's ignoring, how they literally in articles told us we don't care about the lore that came before this game. We're destroying the Dragon's Den. I believe that's what it was called, the online archive that allowed you, since everything was cross-platform now, you didn't just carry over your save data like you did on either PC or console for 1, 2, and 3. You had to now, or at least 1 and 2. For 3 and beyond, you had to go to the Dragon's, whatever it was called.
Keep.
Thank you, Keep. You got to go to Dragon's Keep and basically fill out a bunch of stuff to replicate your save games, and then it would upload it to the game when you connected to the service for the first time. They deleted all of that for 1, 2, and 3. Left it to a 3-question choice. So you mean to tell us we're not supposed to believe that they don't care about the lore when they tell us? Go fuck yourself, lady. Collect your paycheck. Shut up. Go ahead.
They want you to judge it after they've already got your fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
They like that's what she's bitching about here. She's like,
Yeah.
why didn't these people buy this game? Why did they prejudge it before they played it? Well, I'm not spending money on something that I have a pretty good idea that I'm not going to fucking enjoy. And I think that a
You-
lot of people felt that same fucking way. That's how
You
this
gotta-
works. If you don't
And-
sell the game to us, we're not gonna buy it.
Yeah.
You got to pass the bill to see what's in it.
I mean, I was gonna buy it and play it for you guys, but I was so brokenhearted that you guys remember I said I can't do this. I just can't.
Remember, I was still on board after you guys were out. Sam was out first, I think. He said, "I'm not
Yeah.
playing it no matter
Yeah.
what." You after a little bit of the news came out, you said, "I'm out. I'm not going to do this." And I was still sitting there saying, "I'm going to buy it, but I'm going to wait till it's cheaper." But I want
And
to
then they
finish
made
out the
it free,
series.
Devil. Then they made
Yeah.
it free on Game
And-
Pass and shit like that.
And then when I found out that you're essentially forced to humor their transgender bullshit with that one character and shit, finally I was all like, I'm out. I wanted to finish out the series because I'm a completionist, as most stories and stuff. I felt like I had to. Even I couldn't freaking justify playing a game that is like that was just such a betrayal of everything that came before. It just
They killed Varric, man. They killed Varric.
And Bianca.
And Bianca. Right in the beginning, they destroyed Bianca. So this is somebody who's a freaking moron. Like I said, just take your paycheck and go home, honey. You did your voice work. Go home. Don't point the finger at the fans. And they're never going to not learn. They're never going to learn the lesson. They're never going to understand. Don't point the finger at your fans, your customers, your real fans. Because look what happens. Nobody showed up. And now BioWare is hanging by a thread, a prayer that Mass Effect 5, 4, however you want to look at it, is going to somehow do it. And I have no hope or faith in it right now. I don't. I don't know if they. I don't know if they're going to.
They have left to develop Mass Effect 4, right? They got rid of all of their fucking quality people years ago.
Yeah.
The thing is Sam was 100% right when he said they're not selling it to us, because it used to be that's how they thought of it. We're going to create this and then we're going to sell it to the fans. And somewhere these assholes got it in their head that they're entitled to our money and our time and our effort, right? They don't have to sell us on the game. They don't have to make a game that we want to buy, that we see the trailers and go, "Oh my God, I can't wait." They got it in their head that all they have to do is say, "Here's the next chapter, money please." And it's sick and disgusting that like you have here with this lady, because she's not the only one. They all of them kind of have the same idea.
They're all like it.
This idea that somehow it's a betrayal that we didn't give them our time and money, and because we created a good product, you guys just didn't give us the right,
You're just
the
not
attention
evolved
needed.
enough.
Yeah.
To understand.
Oh, fuck
It
that.
is-
We don't owe them shit. We never owed them shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now apparently Ariel didn't know about Varric. Ariel, take it like this. He didn't look or sound or act like Varric at all. So it wasn't Varric.
Well, they killed his character and then they killed him.
Yeah.
So yeah, have at him with the bad dragon.
Yeah. Oh, Lordy.
I don't know if you read the rest of her comment, but it's pretty graphic.
Oh man, I know it's a shame, but as I said, we've gotten over it. We got over it months ago, and we moved on. And it helps when you got great original new games coming out like this. We haven't actually played it on stream, haven't advanced the story, but I've been doing a lot of side stuff and level building that isn't story related. Extra 33 is a fantastic game. It's a great game. A lot of care and attention to put into to an engaging experience, and I cannot recommend it enough right now. And for people who are excited for this, I just checked it. It's here. Today was a holiday, so it didn't get delivered. But my physical copy of Lunar Remastered is nearby. It's in a USPS depot in town. Good chance it arrives tomorrow. So Lunar is back on the menu. I'm excited. We're going to have fun with that too. So just remember, there's great old stuff that is still there. There is great new stuff, but it's coming from the indie realm. like Drew mentioned earlier, when we're talking about this stuff, the indie developers are working hard. They're hungry. They know they know that they've got a real solid inside track to the real gamers because of the collapse of the AAA industry right now.
Well, yeah, it used to be the game industry was like this pool that you had the big guys sitting around drinking from it, and they wouldn't let anyone else near the water and the hose water. And then, and right now, that's exactly it. All the big guys can't get there, and all the indie guys are standing around this drinking, being so happy because they finally got their shot. They're not going to waste it. They're going to come out with the best games, as many as they can, so that we're all satiated and we're all happy, and we'll forget about the big guys. And it's succeeding because all the big guys are collapsing.
And they're aware. They're completely aware because on Double D's this afternoon, we watched a trailer for a game that came out a couple weeks ago called Imperial. And while I was doing it, Kel alerted me to that fact. He was looking at it on Steam. He said, there's some negative reviews out there about you're getting stun locked and insta death. So when we were done looking at the trailer, which looked like a nice game, action RPG, very creative in its gameplay, level design, stuff like that. Let's go look. He said, Adam, look at the reviews. They're not saying good things. So we went in there. We started looking at the reviews, but then we saw the devs were replying to the reviews saying, we hear what you're saying. We're going to address this in the next patch. We hear the stunning locking is a problem. It's a problem. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to help you and get a better experience. So these indie devs, they're receptive to constructive criticism to their game because they want a good experience. They want you to enjoy their game because they want you to have fun. So I see something like that. I see the devs going into Steam reviews saying, we hear you. We're going to look at this. We're going to fix it. That's a sign of hope for me of the next generation of upcoming companies making good games. I love seeing that. That's great. So that's a game we're going to let that cook for like another month. It's only $30 on Steam and PlayStation Store, and I guess you get it for free on Game Pass. You have it, but it's only $30. Not a huge investment. But we're going to let that cook for a month, and we'll come back and see if the reviews remain high in a month because it came out about a week and a half ago. So we're going to let that cook, and if it looks good, we'll put that on the docket of things I might play because it looks like it might be a fun little game. Might be enjoyable.
I'm still catching up on older shit. I started playing RoboCop Rogue City, and
I know I saw you making posts about that shit.
I gotta say, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I really am.
I heard good things.
Like, there's a lot more to it than I thought there was going to be. It's not like a straightforward shooter. You know, there's a lot of story development, character development. Apparently, this takes place after RoboCop 2 and ignores 3.
Yes.
And you know, and there's some really interesting stuff in it. Plus, one of the things that I've been really impressed with is the immersive world. Like the details and the texture mapping are incredible, and it's very hard to find where they repeated texture mapping.
Yeah.
Right.
It
looks like a unique, detailed world.
I've just got one question for you. Have you shot anybody in the balls?
Many people.
Well, that's what the selling point was for him. Yeah.
There's like there are guys who are armored everywhere except their balls. You have to shoot them there.
Oh man, RoboCop, fantastic! I love it that it takes place after RoboCop 2 because RoboCop 3 sucked.
Dude,
I hate RoboCop.
The music is good. The voice acting is pretty solid for the most part. There's a lot more side quests than I thought there would be for a fucking shooter.
I'm gonna get around to it at some point. It's on my list of things to get around to.
Anna pointed it out to me, I think 2 months ago. She's like, yeah, it's on PlayStation Plus for free right now. I was like, fuck it. I'll just download it, see what it's about, right? Because I like RoboCop. I like those movies.
I could do that. I'm playing too much.
I like it. It's good. It's 2 years old, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that game got so much positive energy behind it when it came out. Because, like, boom, here you go. Be RoboCop. Be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a perfect game, but it's not clearly the people who built it cared about it. You know,
but that reinforces the indie developers, the indie sphere, they give a damn. And when they become the new AAA, I think we're in for a great gaming future in the next few years.
Also, Adam, I think you'd like the fact that it's got some pretty serious RPG elements mixed into it too.
Nice. I am going to get around to it. It's something. It's just. I'm so wedded to certain other things right now. I just put it way on a what if. Like I'll probably pick it up when maybe it's like $15 or something like that on sale on a Black Friday or something like that, and just drop it on the list and things to get. But I am looking forward to it. That is something that's cool because I've heard nothing but good things. And from you to say it's good, that carries a lot of weight with me. If you say it's good, that carries a lot of weight. All right, guys, we are over 2 hours, so why don't we wrap it up? I'd love an actual Superman game, but we're never going to get one.
Yeah, you blame fucking Warner Brothers and James Gunn for that shit. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, not going to happen. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's go around the horn, say our farewells, pitch our wares, and have a good night. Devil, what you up to this week?
Oh man, the pub on Friday. Nothing from me, at least. I'll be on other people's shows, but nothing from me from the rest of the week. But in 2 weeks, we are doing Make Me a Sandwich. It's finally happening. It took a shit ton of time to put it all together, but we are in 2 weeks shooting that off. And hopefully everyone tunes in.
I still think it should be called Make Me a Sandwich.
Sandwich? Ebonics. That's the black version. After we have a couple episodes, we're gonna get all black crew, and it's gonna Make Me a Sandwich.
Make Me a Sandwich. All right, Sam.
Next thing I got coming up, schedule wise anyway, is Abyssal Musings on Friday on my channel. Right after that, BL's Pub over on BL's Hub. Then Screaming Into the Void on Saturday. Whenever Amira actually goes live, she kind of didn't do anything this weekend, but whenever she goes live on Exiled Linus 2, I'll be there too. And then right back here next week for Mellow Mondays. Also, if you guys missed it and are curious at all about how my kind of that too, but my I do these solo streams once a month, and I just did one earlier today, and it's sort of a stream of consciousness, talking to the chat sort of deal. It was pretty good, I think. So go check that out. It's on the channel. It's not going anywhere.
Drew.
Yeah, I've been getting into physical media lately, so I've been making some streams, having a few guests on, just kind of random pop-up streams. So if anybody would love to talk, like I said, physical media, talk about different ones that you watched, and you can show yours. And yeah, those,
I've been watching
randomly. yeah, you were on the chat. That was awesome. That was cool. That was a fun time.
All right. As for me, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, catch another daily dive. The Double Ds, where you, the chat, are in charge, and you make the show happen through your unique ways to make me suffer things that I probably don't want to watch or get into. But we do have a good time there, a lot of fun. We have to come up with new tiers because we did vote on Sunday on Roundtable to increase this tier of nightmares for another month, because we're going to turn it into a week of doom, not just a day of doom, a week of doom. But we blew past the tiers tonight now, so we got to come up with more stuff on that. Rest of the week, we got gaming streams. As I said, I've got more Wheel of Time cancellation content. Wednesday night, we're doing autopsy stream. I know you guys love those. We're going to break down why Wheel of Time failed from the very beginning. We're going to go we're going to get the Wayback Machine to my early first year videos talking about this, the channel's infant year when I covered this shit. That's how far back we go, because I was on top of this from the beginning. So we're going to talk about that. We've got, at the end of the week on Double D's, we've got Star Wars Expanded Universe Book Club, Children of the Jedi by Barbara Hambley. So you got time to read. I got to reread it this week for that. Now it's an open forum discussion with you guys in the chat. It's meant for me to talk about it and you guys to engage with me. So I'm looking forward to that. End of the week, Ball Busters. We have no guests. It looks like we'll be free balling it, so to speak. So it should be just regular retarded stupid degeneracy as normal over there. Saturday Night Driving this week is Star Trek First Contact. Assimilate this.
Nice.
Yeah, Jed chose it. Jed wanted to do some Star Trek, so I said, yeah, fine. I love First Contact. I'm always happy to do
tough
First
little
Contact.
ship.
Yeah, tough little ship. Little. I love that movie. I love that movie. Some people don't like it. They say that's where it started to not be TNG. I love First Contact. I think it's great. And then apparently there is no Chatterday this week because Dermy's going to be on Project Eggroll. So we'll probably just be doing some good old-fashioned co-op gaming. We're killing bugs. We're killing heretics. Having a good time. A lot of people can join us for that. Then There's also this Saturday, the finale of Shooty Who. Get that out of the freaking way. Roundtable, 2 p.m. on Sunday. Every Wednesday on Duke Devil, Bradley Burnett's channel, you can catch our edited discussions of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. This week, we started season 2. We're already at season 2 now. It's fantastic. We got a lot of fun things planned for the future in that show. So check out the edited versions on his channel every Wednesday.
I'll be on there eventually too.
Yes. We were talking about you last night. We're gonna put you in a bottle episode, essentially, something where you don't have to worry about too much past information. It's a fun show. We had a lot of fun on that one. Last night's was a little crazy, and then we'll be right back here next Monday for another Mellow Mondays. That's the name of the show. My brain is fried now. Mellow Mondays. So thank you everybody for watching. We appreciate you guys. Without you, we don't get to do this. So subscribe to everybody's channels. Hit that like button. Leave some comments. And we'll catch you next time. Until then, everybody, take it easy, guys.